Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mackenzie and I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kids. And today I want to share reasons not to homeschool. And I'm going to talk about those reasons and I'm going to debunk them today. So if you want to hear those reasons and hear how they're debunked, stick around. Okay, myth number 1 is that if you homeschool, your kids will not be socialized. And I hear this everywhere, and I really do think this is the number 1 reason that you will hear not to homeschool your kids. I feel like in the world today, that's kind of laughable because there are so many things that you can put your kids into, so many sports, so many co-ops, right? There's so many homeschoolers now that I'm sure you could find a co-op in your area. I mean, my kids are in so many things. We're in a co-op where they are with those kids twice a week, and then we also have I am outsourcing their learning by going to sewing lessons, going to aerial silk lessons, going to soccer, going to basketball. We also have church on Sundays where they have their own individual classes. And then they also have activities from church during the week, every week. So my kids are socializing probably every day. We also have friends that come over a lot. And so the fact that socialization is something that people are still talking about is kind of funny to me. It doesn't make sense. It's not like my kids don't interact with anybody ever because they homeschool. We interact with people quite a bit. I have actually heard from multiple people about my kids, multiple different situations, that they socialize really well. And I just remember this one time my kids went to a birthday party and the other kids were just being so rowdy and kind of obnoxious. And I'm not saying all public school kids are like that, but they did point out that my kids and then another family's kids were being so good. And the other kids were also homeschooled. So I do think that there are a lot of social benefits that come to homeschooled kids. Also, if you need a little bit more encouragement that your kids will be okay in socialization in homeschool, read the book, Hold On to Your Kids. That book has just completely revolutionized the way that I view socialization. Talks about how in today's world, kids are so attached to their peers, and it's actually causing quite a bit of problems because they are not attached to their parents or to their teachers who should be really good adult role models. That should be who they're attached to, who they look up to, and who they want to become. But instead, in today's day and age, they are attached to their peers and they want to be like them and they want to do the things that their friends are doing, which isn't always a really good moral compass. Okay, I could go on and on forever about socialization, but we're gonna move on to number 2, which is you can't homeschool because you don't have patience. And let me tell you that I don't think any mom is prepared for homeschooling before they start homeschooling. It's just something you kind of dive into and then you learn the skills, right? I mean, I did not develop patience before I was a homeschool mom, and I am still developing that. But that is okay, and I am learning and I am growing. I've come a long ways over the years, but I still have a long ways to go. I don't think that patience should be something that keeps you from homeschooling. Being able to work on that patience and learning how to work with your kids is something that every parent should learn to do, whether or not they're homeschooling or not. Okay, number 3 is that won't your kids be weird if you homeschool? So homeschoolers kind of have a rap of being weird, right? I remember growing up, homeschoolers, just thinking that homeschoolers were weird. And then when I became a mom and I started thinking about homeschooling, I was kind of worried. I was I don't know, what if they're gonna be weird? And my husband was absolutely not. Our kids are not gonna be weird, I have noticed that there are plenty of weird kids at public school. It's not that there aren't any weird kids at public school, right? There are weird kids there. And so I've noticed that the weird kids are just like their parents. If my kids are weird, it's because it's probably genetically inherited from me and from my husband, not because I homeschool them. There's also a lot of homeschoolers I'm noticing. I remember the first time I went to my first co-op, I was kind of expecting it. This was when I first started homeschooling. I was expecting to walk into a room of a bunch of weird families and weird kids. And it was the complete opposite. The kids were awesome. They were just like reaching out to each other. I feel like they were all so independent. They all just knew who they were at such a young age. Maybe it's because they are in a classroom where, kids are kind of put into like these popularity cliques. I don't know. They were all just kind of reached out and they were all so nice. And I didn't really see any social things that kind of made me think that they were weird. The people that say that homeschool kids are weird are probably just the ones that grew up thinking that and don't really know. They don't really have a clue. Okay. Oh gosh, what number am I on? Number 4? Myth number 4 is that your kids will fall behind. And this thought kind of alludes to that there are no kids in public school who are behind, which isn't true. I remember back when I was in public school, I was behind. I was being taught by a teacher. She didn't have time to sit with me and help me read at a more fluent level. I just remember getting bad grades and I was trying hard. I was doing the best I could, and with the tutoring or with the amount of time that my teacher could give me, which wasn't really I didn't get a whole lot of one-on-one time. I remember being pulled out and getting remedial reading sheets and just feeling stupid, right? And so there are a lot of kids in public school that are behind, but do they pull them a grade behind? They don't. They send them to the next grade anyways, right? Where when you are homeschooling, if your kid is struggling and falling behind, you can give them that one-on-one time. You can give them the curriculum that is designated to where they're at. I would say you are giving your kids a huge blessing by being able to sit there with them, teach them where they're at, help them, tutor them. And if they fall behind, that's completely normal. Don't think that it's your fault because you're homeschooling them. It probably would have happened even more so if they were in public school. There have been some learning challenges in my home with my homeschool. I have noticed that there have been years where my children have fallen behind quite a bit because we're focusing so much on their struggles that we aren't moving on as fast as the public school would for them so that we could focus on those struggles. And then I noticed once they get that, they zoom forward. And sometimes it takes a few years to kind of see that happen. If our kids are falling behind, we're kind of stuck in that moment of, oh no, they're behind. But it really takes a few years to see once they catch onto something, they're able to catch up pretty quickly. And so that has kind of put my heart at ease when I decide that we need to slow down and work on something. Yes, our kids may fall behind, but is that the most important thing? Is learning academically the most important thing to you? I know plenty of people who are extremely smart, extremely successful, but are they righteous people? Are they people that everyone look up to? Are they giving back to the society? Are they following Christ? Those are the things that I put even above academics. So if I am able to take them home and teach them how to be a disciple of Christ and teach them how to serve others around them and teach them how to give back to the community, and they fall behind a little bit, I would say, maybe they're a little bit behind academically, but are they behind in character? No. So that's just something to think about. Okay, myth number 5 is that your kids won't be prepared for the world. And this is also one that just kind of is funny because is being in public school in a classroom full of a bunch of other kids that are your exact age, is that what the world looks like when you get into college? Or even when you get out of college and you get a job? Are you in a room working with a bunch of people that are your same age doing the same thing that you're doing? No, that is not the world. The world is very different. Kids, when they're at home, they're learning how to learn independently. Of course, in the earlier years, you're gonna be more involved. As they get older, my goal is to help them to learn more independently, to learn how to learn, I guess, so that they don't need me anymore, right? That's our goal, to get our kids to live on their own and be independent and be confident learners, confident people, hard workers. Once they get into college, they're not gonna have a teacher that's able to sit with them and help them on their math problems that they need help with at lunchtime, like in high school, right? Or in junior high. I wouldn't say that homeschooling can't prepare you for college or for the world. I feel like I'm able to give my kids so many different opportunities through homeschool that I'm not worried. I'm not worried about them being prepared for college. They're gonna learn how to take care of their problems on their own, which is what we hope for adults, right? So I hope that if you have any concerns about homeschooling that have to do with these few things, I hope that I put those at ease for you. There are a lot of myths about homeschooling out there, but don't believe them all because they're not all true. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I will see you again here later.